aren't in the top 10 for the betting. Brazil are coming in as fourth favourites. Ian Darke, of course, will be at the World Cup. He loves it, Ian.
Can't help himself.
I know.
He's still going. Look how he loves it, World Cup. Him and Derek Ray.
Pros and cons of Brazil for us, please, Ian.
Well, I think, the Ancelotti factor is fantastic, really, isn't it? What a talking point it is. I think he's getting Brazil together in the right kind of way, with the right blend maybe of silk and steel. I think you can forget all the old cliches about samba football. I think they'll be a little bit more pragmatic than that, and they probably need to be. But, look, they've got Vinicius, they've got Rafinha, Casemiro's been recalled, seems to have revived his career. They've got Marquinhos and Gabriel at the back. So, the last time the World Cup was in the United States, they won it. So, and with not one of their best sides, so they're in the conversation, I'd say.
Look at that group they're in.
They'll walk through that group, obviously.
Well, Morocco will be a tough game.
Morocco will be tough.
Morocco will be a tough game, but there's a chance three teams are going to get out in this ridiculous.
My good friend and Brazilian David Mossy has been, how should we say this, down on this Brazil team. I have been much more bullish about Brazil for a couple of different reasons, not the least of which is low expectation Brazil scares me, because no matter what, this is still Brazil. There is still plenty of talent. Makeup of that talent, I'm sure you can expound upon that. But if you're looking at qualifying, as you mentioned, unimpressive to say the least by Brazilian standards. Certainly 6 losses in their 18 games and finishing fifth. And in the past, we've talked about depth when it comes to Brazil and all of this talent. I mean, hell, we talked about Brazil bringing along players just for the ride, just to give them the experience. That does not happen, and is not happening under Carlo Ancelotti, who is being asked, it might be a bridge too far, to bring this team back to prominence and certainly back to winning ways. Although, while this team isn't great, the reality is that this is a Brazil team that hasn't won since 2002. So it's been a long time. It's not just this team. And I don't think there's a lot of people, including my friend over here, that are giving them a lot of chance of breaking that duck now.
If you're looking for a positive omen, Brazil did win the 94 World Cup in the United States, ending a 24-year drought. This summer, they're looking to win a World Cup in the United States to end a 24-year drought. The last time Brazil won it was 2002. We do have to talk about Neymar, and we have to timestamp this conversation because the situation is so fluid. We're taping this on Thursday, May 28th. The breaking news today, Neymar picked up an injury while playing for Santos the day before the squad was selected. And Santos told the Brazilian Federation it was a minor injury, no big deal. So Brazil went ahead and called him up. The players reported to camp in the last 24 hours, and Neymar underwent a medical examination. Turns out the injury is more serious than everyone initially thought. They're saying 2 to 3 weeks out, he's going to miss the 2 friendlies, the whole training camp ahead of the tournament, and could even miss the first couple of matches. And the debate going on in Brazil right now is 2014, 2018, 2022 Neymar, you wait on him, you make that sacrifice, the same as Spain might be doing with Lamine Yamal. The 2026 version of Neymar, when he's had all these injuries, a lot of people think it was kind of 50-50 whether he deserved to go anyway, and now he might not be fit until sometime in the middle of the tournament. In recent years, it's taken him longer to regain his rhythm when coming back from any kind of injury. So is the juice worth the squeeze?
Juice isn't worth the squeeze, my friend. I mean, there's one thing of bending over backwards for someone like Neymar, and I get it. He has earned it. I mean, this is doing like 3 backflips in order to accommodate him. So I think I want to see him there, but I don't want him to see him there just because it's Neymar. I want him to be able to do stuff on the field. It's even more painful sometimes watching great players who can't do what they once did on the field.
I mentioned we've been hit hard by injuries. Militão, Rodrigo, and Estevao, 3 starting caliber players, all out. The Militão injury is particularly devastating. He's a center back by trade now with Real Madrid. He was going to start at right back, which is a position he did play early in his career, so he's comfortable out there. The couple of games he played recently out there, not only was he good defensively, but he had some juice going forward, and he provided some protection for Marquinhos at the back, who needs it at this point in his career. So that's a huge loss. I'm worried about Brazil's back line. The fullbacks are very weak. And then from the midfield forward, the big tactical question for me is, where is Matheus Cunha going to play? Because Brazil have been playing in what everybody's calling a 4-2-4 formation. 4 out-and-out attackers, just 2 midfielders, Casemiro and Bruno Guimaraes. In a March friendly against Croatia, Carlo Ancelotti experimented with Matheus Cunha as a genuine midfielder, so it looked more like a 4-3-3. He's versatile enough that he can do that, and I liked it. So I'm actually hoping Brazil line up more that way, taking advantage of Cunha's versatility. So we'll see. Listen, there is some talent there. There's some young players I like, Endrick and Ryan. So it is Brazil. It's Carlo Ancelotti. It's not impossible they could surprise us, go on a run, maybe even win the whole thing, but very improbable, I would say.
All right. Well, listen, you're paying Carlo Ancelotti a lot of money, and you obviously want him to continue on. So we need a little bit of magic.
Rio on a cool Sunday night at the end of May. Anyone for tennis? Came back from the Maracanã Stadium here in Rio yesterday after Brazil 6, Panama 2. Fancy Panama for the second set? Well, what a fantastic evening's entertainment it was, and very, very interesting. If you're just seeing the scoreline, you're thinking, wow, Brazil on course. If you watch the game, you will know that there's a few reasons for Carlo Ancelotti to have some doubts with what he's originally been planning, because this was very, very much a game of two halves. Brazil changed. They brought on all of their subs at the interval, which was 10 of them. So only one player played the full 90. So essentially, it's two different teams. And the problem maybe is for Ancelotti is that the second team worked much better than the first team, which isn't a case so much of the personnel. It's a case of the structure of the side and the system that Ancelotti has been trying to use. If you followed us regularly on the Brazilian Shirt Name podcast, you will know that I've often pointed out that fascinates me that Ancelotti has been wanting to play with 4 up front, essentially 4 up front. Now, originally that's Estevão of Chelsea on the right, Rafinha and Matheus Cunha and Vini Jr. With Estevão injured, tragically out of the World Cup, his reserve, Luis Henrique, started last night. So that was the starting lineup. And the question that has always been in my mind is that only leaves 2 in the central midfield, Bruno Guimaraes and Casemiro. Casemiro is 34. How on earth, I've often asked, are they going to be able to do that in the conditions of extreme heat in the World Cup? Well, what we saw last night is that they couldn't do it in a very mild, late autumn, quite fresh evening in Rio, because it really didn't work at all in any sense, despite first minute, Casemiro makes an interception, Vini latches onto a loose ball and just bangs one into the top corner from 30. And you're thinking then, a minute gone, 1-0, poor old Panama. This really is going to be a cricket score. But the story of the first half was that Panama had more possession and the same number of shots. And it was an even game. And Panama were lucky with their goal, which was a free kick, deflected off the wall. Such a tough crowd, you know. Such a tough crowd. Because Alisson, he's got absolutely no chance. No chance. What did the crowd do afterwards? They start booing Alisson. No, it's a tough crowd. Alisson suffers with Brazilian crowds because he hasn't had the big World Cup game. He hasn't made the big World Cup save. You know, the one that Martinez made at the end of the final there, Argentina-France. He hasn't had that moment. So he suffers from that, from the Brazilian crowd. And he was imagine you're booing your goalkeeper, a great goalkeeper like that after conceding a goal that he had no part in. And Brazil went in 2-1 up at the interval with a goal from Casemiro that was originally given offside. And it was just the defender just had a toenail back. So it was a very, very thin margin. But the side really, really didn't work at all. It didn't work in attacking terms. And there was one really good collective move that they put together, a kind of 4-man move, after about 41 minutes, I think I know. So that was the first one. They looked, the players, way, way too far apart. There's lots and lots of width, but the players are too far apart from each other. It's difficult, I think, with an attack that doesn't have a focal point, because so often Mateus Cunha has to come back a long way and also cover the left in order for Vini to cut in and attack that space. And with just two there in the central midfield, Panama had the ball and were able to play around them. They really created the extra man there, Panama, with defending there with a back three, two wing backs, and then the wide players are cutting in. So they're making extra players in that zone of the field, outnumbering poor old Casemiro and Bruno. And Mateus Cunha also coming back to put in a defensive shift. But he's not a natural midfielder. And so Brazil were in real trouble. And all right, element of luck with a deflected free kick. But the fact that they'd given away the free kick on the edge of their area is in itself a testament to the fact that they were struggling to hold Panama during that first half. It was very, very disjointed. The team didn't work in attack, didn't work in defence, didn't work at all. Very, very worrying. And at half-time, I'm thinking, blimey, this is awful. So then we get the 10 changes. And the effect that there is a change in formation. It's only really a tweak, but it is a change in formation, because then you've got three in the middle of midfield. Fabinho, ex-Liverpool, who came on for Casemiro. And then either side of him, you've got another pair of former Premier League players. You've got Lucas Paquetá, and you've got Danilo, who's now been called Danilo Santos, once of Nottingham Forest. He's gained a Santos because there's already the veteran Danilo playing in defence. And the three of them, Paquetá and Danilo Santos were the best things in the game. It just worked really, really well. The team were much, much more compact. They had control of the ball. They had control of the game. Paquetá slipping through some lovely passes. Danilo Santos full of dynamism, getting into the penalty area. And it just worked wonderfully well. Yes, there's a little bit of luck there and they scored 3 goals, bang, bang, bang. So from 2-1, suddenly it's 5-1. And two of those goals on Panama essentially kicked into their own net, losing the ball very, very close to their own goal. But I suppose that in itself tells you that Brazil more compact, more able to put pressure on them. So some individual names did well. Hyan of Bournemouth. Now, I think when he went to Bournemouth at the start of the year, I don't think he imagined that he'd be in Brazil's World Cup squad. And how can you get in there from Bournemouth? He's had a fantastic time in the Premier League. The injury to Estevão has moved him up the pecking order. And he came on at half-time and scored beautifully taken goal. It was unfortunately for the Panama goalkeeper, Mosquera, it was a great pass from him straight to Hyan. So Ancelotti has learned about his options, but he also comes away from this game with a huge doubt about the structure of his team. And he said this after the game. He said, the evidence of this has placed doubts in my mind about how we're going to line up. And obviously that doubt is he going to have 3 genuine midfielders in there? Now, I think the easiest way that he could do that with the starting lineup, well, the ones who started. Now, the likes of Vini and Rafinha, they're not going to lose their places just because of what happened. What happened on Sunday night. Although Rafinha didn't do very well. It's perhaps not proving that easy to slot him into the team. But I think one way that this could happen is you move Rafinha back to his original position on the right wing. And then Cunha can stay more centralised and just drop a little bit and give the space there for Vini. But with 3 in the central midfield there, you're then more compact. And it also means that you're attacking right back Wesley with 3 in the midfield. He's freer to